to Black Goddess TV. I'm your host, QueenAShakur. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And if you have not been receiving your notifications, please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. We know sometimes people mysteriously become unsubscribed, so please check on that. Now, you can follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. You can also follow the QueenAShakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so let's get into it. So there are a couple of Black boys, ages 3 and 4, who were adopted, and they came up missing. Now, there was a search conducted, not just by law enforcement, but by community members as well. And their bodies have not been recovered as of yet. But however, the parents who adopted them, they've been charged with their murder. Now, it also appears, according to authorities, that they didn't report these boys missing until 3 months after they actually came up missing or whatever, which is one of the main things that I would believe made the police suspicious. And so, yeah, even though the bodies have not been recovered, they're still charging them with murder. And there's been hundreds of cases in the United States that have absolutely been prosecuted successfully, even though there was no body, okay, that was recovered. You know, sometimes circumstantial evidence is enough to suffice. So with that all being said, I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live.
Starting off this hour with an update in the case of those two missing boys from California City, Orrin and Orson West. The adoptive father and mother, Trezell and Jacqueline West, have both been arrested on charges of murder. According to the Superior Court website, the couple were booked on 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, and a misdemeanor count of filing a false report of an emergency. So how do we get to this point? Let's take a look back at the timeline of events in this case. It began back on December 21st of 2020. That's when the 2 boys were first reported missing. Then on February 4th, the reward grows for the missing boys to $120,000. On March 1st, the BPD announced they were taking over the investigation from the Cal City Police Department. In December of last year, that was the 1-year anniversary of the disappearance with no new updates from law enforcement. And then last night, we found the charges being brought against Trezell and Jacqueline West after the arrests were made. We are hoping to hear from law enforcement later this morning. You can follow this on air and online by going to our website, turnto23.com.
Okay, so there you have it. Clearly, they have not found the bodies, and they're very suspicious of the parents. Now, I'm going to show another report on this. So everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Thank you in advance.
Wondering, how do we get to this point of the arrest, and when were the boys first reported missing? I took a look back at our coverage of the West boys and the events that led to today.
Where are the boys? Where are the boys? Where are the boys? Where are the boys?
It was December 21st, 2020. Orrin and Orson West, also known as Classic and Sincere, were first reported missing in California City by their adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West. Days after that time, the West parents telling 23 ABC they understand that people would accuse them of the disappearance.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
And the Cal City Police Chief John Walker assuring the community his department was looking for clues day in and day out at the start of the investigation.
We're just trying to dig up anything, any clues that we can possibly find to find out where they had gone and also to confirm that they're not in the backyard.
The disappearance prompting a massive search effort involving not only Cal City Police, but the Bakersfield Police Department, the FBI, and the community. Then month after month, the community rallied together for searches, marches, and vigils, all to find the boys.
Where are the boys? No peace! No peace! Where are the boys? No boys! No peace!
And reward money for information and the return of the boys continued to grow in 2021 as local businesses, community members, and a private investigator joined the search efforts for the boys.
There was some elements that stood out about the foster families interviews that pretty much compelled me to participate and come out and do what we could to help find both of these boys.
Billboards with the boys' faces and the rewards started to appear in February 2021 in Kern County. But after 8 weeks, Cal City Police confirmed they have no suspects in the case. And March 1st, 2021, the Bakersfield Police Department officially took over the case. They continued the search in Cal City and Southeast Bakersfield for the boys, issuing a search warrant to the adoptive grandparents and more than 20 more search warrants in the case. It wasn't until June 2021 BPD gave an update on the case, announcing 170 items have been seized, 83 individuals have been interviewed, 44 search warrants have been conducted, 16 mass area searches have been done, 3 searches outside of California, and 200 plus tips have been received and followed up on, but still, the boys have not been located. Then month after month, the community continued to come together with prayer vigils and hoping for answers for the boys. But December, nearly 1 year after they were first reported missing, BPD provided an update saying since June, they executed 4 more search warrants, interviewed 33 more people, conducted 11 mass area searches, and 4 out-of-state searches. During the 1-year anniversary, we spoke to the biological family who said they just want answers.
Some kind of answers. It's been a year. We deserve something.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
I mean, it's only right.
Orson's biological father saying regardless of the circumstances, he will always be here for the boys.
I still got them. They should know that I still love them, that I'm always going to have their backs regardless of the fact those are my kids. Like, you know, that's something that you'll miss in life that you can never get back.
Now, just 14 months after they were first reported missing, the Kern County grand jury indicted the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, for the murder of Orrin and Orson West. They were arrested March 1st around 7 p.m. near Highway 58 in Enos Lane. Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer announcing Wednesday the investigation unveils that the boys are dead. But Zimmer added that the bodies have not been found, and now the family is still searching for answers.
The question is now, where are the boys' bodies? We want to be able to bring them home and, give them a proper burial.
Okay, so that is clearly said. Now, the boys have not been found. And like I said, they've prosecuted successfully cases where there was no body of the victims. So now here's some more information on the case. On December the 21st of 2020, Trezell and Jacqueline West told California City Police that Orrin, then 4 years old, and Orson, then 3, had disappeared from the family's backyard. Now, police and volunteers from the community searched, but to no avail. And then in the early days of the search, Trezell and Jacqueline West spoke to reporters and asked for their help and for the public's help as far as finding the boys. So Trezell said that he was moving firewood for his wife as his wife wrapped Christmas gifts inside the house, and the boys, well, they were playing outside. He said, I came to my house, I saw them there, go in the house, I came back, I didn't see them now. This is what Trezell said. Now, he says, I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked. I came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. First of all, I'm going to say this. Who forgets to close a gate when you have children outside, 3 and 4 years old, when you have toddlers outside playing in the yard? Who forgets to close their gate? And you literally just walked past them to go into the house. That makes no sense at all. Right? Now, during the December 2020 briefing, a reporter said the boy's biological mother thinks the couple are involved. Well, absolutely, they're involved. I absolutely believe so. So they say that that's understandable. I would think the same thing. That's what Trezell West, the adoptive father, that's what he says, that he would be thinking the same thing. Please miss me with it. Okay. They know a whole lot more than what they're saying. And why would you wait for months before you actually report them missing if you didn't have a hand in it or you didn't do anything, to these children? And mind you, they have other adoptive children. They have 4 other children. And those children, as of now, have been placed in protective custody. And thank goodness for that. Okay. So they're going to stay. He says, I'm not permitted to go over the facts of this case. I'm sorry. During the December 2020 briefing, a reporter said the boy's biological mother thought they were involved, the couple that is. Okay. And Trezell says that he understands how they feel. Now, they say several law enforcement agencies worked diligently hundreds of hours in the next 12 months looking for the boys, according to the prosecutor, and they never found it. So the district attorney declined to detail the information that led authorities to believe that the adoptive parents killed the two boys in September of 2020, about 3 months prior to them being reported missing. She says, I'm not permitted to go over the facts of this case. This is what she told reporters on Wednesday, saying that the facts of the case are to be what we produce in the jury trial, because we want both the prosecution and the defense to have a fair trial in the case. But Zimmer noted that the information was enough for a grand jury to indict Trezell and Jacqueline West. The grand jury convened in December and heard testimony from dozens of witnesses. And then they say, we were able to prove that the grand jury, or prove to the grand jury, that the boys have died, that they were murdered. And we did that through a combination of direct and circumstantial evidence. And the grand jury is convinced that they are in fact dead. So that is just so sad. Now, Rosanna Willis, the boy's biological cousin, said that she was devastated by the news. And she says, now it's time to start grieving. That's what she told CNN. She says, we just want to know, why would you hurt two babies? Well, that's just sadly what some people do. When they go out here and adopt these kids, or they just take in foster kids, they do so for nefarious reasons. Many of these people do. And I'm not saying all, of course, but there has been a lot of cases as of late of these children who are adopted being killed, tortured, neglected, and all types of abuse goes on. We've heard these stories time and time again. So you can never be sure that because the child is adopted, they're going to have a better life. Sometimes they end up not even getting to live their lives. So the boy's aunt, Kiki Horde, said that she can't fully grieve until the boys' bodies are found. She says, we're not going to have closure until they bring the babies home so that we can have a proper burial. That's all we want now, their bodies and the closure, so we can grieve. Now, local police chiefs acknowledged the work of the officers and volunteers who scoured the community looking for Orrin and Orson. They say this is a real tragedy, an absolute tragedy that was reported in my city, that two small boys could be killed or could have been killed by their parents. And that's what California City Police Chief John Walker had to say. This is all very sad and egregious. And I, believe also that the children are dead and that the parents likely did something. And also, they recently had moved to California City. These adoptive parents, they had recently just moved there. So I have to wonder if the boys were alive when they moved, or if perhaps they killed them prior to leaving, and maybe that's why they actually left. I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I'm going to follow the story to see what else comes of it. But it is very sad that these little toddlers, 3 and 4 years old, playing in their backyard, and they just conveniently disappear. No one knows anything. And then the parents wait all this time to report them missing. Of course, they had something to do with it. Why, other than that, why would they wait for months to report these children missing? And if they cared about them and were so concerned, they would have done something immediately. Also, I don't believe that the father, as I told you, left the gate unlocked, left it open when he came home. Who does that? The gate was closed when he got there, was it not? Because it had to have been if they were playing in the backyard and they had not left out of the yard. So you come home, the gate's closed. You open it to come into the yard and go into the house, but you forget to close it, even though you saw a 3 and a 4-year-old outside playing. Yeah, clearly something more nefarious is going on here. So everyone, please leave me a comment letting me know what you think. And make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all. And I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.